जान पहचान हो जीना आसान हो जान पहचान हो अब जीना आसान हो दिल को चुराने वालों आंख न चुराओ नाम तो बताओ जान पहचान हो जीना आसान हो जान पहचान हो जीना आसान हो दिल को चुराने वालों आंख न चुराओ नाम तो बताओ जान पहचान हो जीना आसान हो शाम जवां यूं न चली जाए आज ये शाम जवां यूं न चली जाए फिर से न आएगी या किसी के बुलाए फिर से न आएगी या किसी के बुलाए फिर से न आएगी या किसी के बुलाए जान पहचान हो जीना आसान हो.
My name is Anthony Majarian. My gamer tag is A1Major. Basically, I came up with that name only because we started to use the internet and I needed a profile. I was still going by Anthony. A1 because I thought it would sound catchy, so I put a number in the middle. Major is a play on my surname, but because I was also playing, I was playing piano at the time, and there was a lot of things that were played in A minor, and it sounded really nice. But I thought it would be a nice change to actually be A major, but then I thought that sounded kind of silly, so I put a 1 in there. And it kind of worked because now everyone just calls me A1. The first time, my brother, he pretty much was a pretty cool guy to me when I was young. I was about like 6 years old, so it would have been like the late 80s. We went to like a bazaar or a marketplace, and they had a set of arcade machines, and he just put 40 cents in the Double Dragon machine. He goes, play this. And then I played probably for like 5 minutes, and I was out of the game, but that changed my perception, and I loved games ever since. I think the next game that I really enjoyed after that was Final Fight. And then I was playing that for a while, but then in school everyone was telling me there's this game called Street Fighter 2. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. And then eventually my brother comes home one day and he goes, oh, we should go to the fish and chip shop up the road. They've got Street Fighter 2. And I'm like, okay, I get to see what it's like. I played it, and I didn't know what to do. I was looking at all the moves, and I'm like, ooh, what's going on? Never seen anything look this good in an arcade game in my life. Everything was so fluid. I managed to do one fireball. I lost, but I was happy. I was the happiest kid on the planet. I went back to school and told everyone, and everyone was amazed. I've been playing KOF for a long time, but I guess it hasn't been anything really except being known in the arcades a bit. Like, there was a few people that used to know me as the Takuma guy because I'd used to go on long win streaks, but whether or not that's anything, that was like over 15 years ago. And then, arcade scene kind of died down in Adelaide, so I moved on to other games. But I think the first time anyone actually knew about me was BAM 2012, when I had a friendly money match with Eddie, because first I played him casuals in Shuttle Showdown earlier that year, and he goes, oh, you're pretty good. So I just sent out a money match and he accepted, and then the next thing you know, I think Reese sent to other people, I've got money on A1, anyone want to back your boy? And then eventually it just got hyped up, and then it became one of the exhibitions, and so from that point on, I think everyone knew who I was. In that tournament I came, in the actual main tournament, I came second, and then since then I've been placing top 8. To be honest, I thought, because at the time when I was looking at Eddie's team beforehand, I didn't really super prepare. Because it's really hard to prepare, I think, for Eddie, because I don't play him. I tried as much as I could with the characters that I thought he'd play, but he wasn't using Takuma. His team actually changed a bit by Shadaloo till BAM, and so I just went into practice mode and just tried a few setups here and there, but I still think I was, at the time, regardless of how much I was playing in training mode and just practicing, nothing prepared me for that kind of stage and environment.
Good. Definitely in the top 3 of Australia. I think you're the third.
Close. I mean, both characters with close to full health, and the meter lead isn't that. Oh,
Eddie, I don't know why he does that. He did that in full play as well.
He yeah. It's the command for Benimaru's lightning is it's classical back punch. Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Benimaru to have that. Oh no. Oh, yeah. Eddie was telling me before that he's got some trouble with the HD combos for his characters. I'm not too sure why, but yeah, that unfortunate drop there. Oh, game one, A1Major.
Because the entire time, my heart was racing. I had never experienced anything like that, and I just was dropping combos. Yeah, because I just something completely new, and you know, as much as everyone was backing me, I kind of didn't want to let them down, but at the same time, I wanted to play well, so there was a lot of factors going on. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, I say to most people, like if I think about it, it's probably the longest 45 minutes of my life, because at the end of it, I'm like, wow, that was only 45 minutes. It felt like a lifetime.
Well, yeah,
at the time, me and Eddie and I were pretty much evenly matched, so it could have gone either way. I was very surprised because the 8th game, he OCV'd me. And you would think that riding that momentum, he would have been able to, but the last game, I noticed he was being very conservative, and I think the nerves got to him because he's like, oh, it's 4-all. I better play properly. And then I realized that he was playing defensively, and he doesn't do that. So I just went in, and I didn't even get to my anchor. And I thought, that's what I noticed. And that was the time. I could have played that match better, but just noticing that in the match allowed me to get the 5th game. It was a really good feeling because, you know, it's good that, you know, in amongst coming to a foreign state, you know, Melbourne can be very loud, and that's all well and good, and that's all funny. A lot of the times I was sitting there trying not to laugh at everything that was going on, but, you know, being able to win outside of, like, I guess a comfort zone, like, you know, autopiloting sometimes in Adelaide and you're just having this dumb attitude. It was a really good feeling. Okay, I'll explain this to you. At the time, there was no, we had Kims, but not fully utilized their tool set. So I was playing against Kim and I'm going, okay, whatever. But then I realized that when I went to Sydney, there was a lot of Kim players and I got exposed. And I'll pretty much say that because I have no idea of at the time, I didn't know what to do against Kim. And that was the big deciding factor. And he pretty much took the games relatively easily from me. And he changed his team, and I wasn't sure. But yeah, he changed his team quite a bit. He put a lot of top tier in his team. Yeah, and so, yeah. And pretty much he came back from Singapore, and he was training with Derek. It was close, but I realized that I had no idea what to do against Kim. So after OHN, I actually went back and went, what is this character? So I actually had to go back and go into practice mode and see what could punish what to expect, what to defend against. Because, yeah, no experience, and that character pretty much blew me up.
Get him, Rock! Get him! Sick him! Set fire! Ooh, shoot!
It was basically like after school you'd go, but because of the way arcades were in Adelaide, a lot of people wouldn't go simply because the aura, and no disrespect or being racist, but a lot of people had a very wrong misconception about the Asians, but they were really nice people. Like, we'd go there and I'd go and play games with them, and they were always like, they were the first people that actually explained, and they weren't secretive, and they explained tech to me, and they were like, this is what you do in this match. But, you know, there was always this bad vibe attached to the arcade scene, so a lot of people were very hesitant to go. But it was pretty, obviously the mid-90s, it was like booming quite a bit. Like, arcades you couldn't go anywhere, even like a corner store or a fruit and veg that would have a World Warrior or a Hyper Fighting or a Champion Edition or something like that. Always someone playing it. I'd go interstate, like in Sydney, just for a visit with my family and friends. I'd walk up to the deli. They have a Champion Edition machine, and there's like 10 people crowded around it. I was like, wow. But obviously, our arcade, where I lived at the time, they were too nice to their customers, so they weren't getting enough rent, and eventually they closed about 97. So I started to go to Adelaide City to play, and they had a bunch of arcades to play. And I think at that stage, for Adelaide, Street Fighter was not as popular. Like, people were playing Alpha 2, but people were playing KOF 96 and 97 quite a lot. And there was always 97, I think 97 and 98 and 2000, the arcades were always packed, and it would take ages for you to like sit down and have a credit. And to some extent Alpha 3 as well, but Street Fighter 3 did not get touched in South Australia at all. So in that sense, but it was booming for like ages. But then obviously there was issues with the arcade, like I was saying. There still has some negative connotations about the arcade scene. So Adelaide Council closed all the arcades down 2003. So we didn't have anywhere to play. And so I moved on to playing. I played at home, but that pretty much killed it, because I feel like we had so many exchange students coming into the state that's where I got all my challenges for KOF. So that's the reason why the scene was big, because there was a lot of locals, but them coming to Australia for uni allowed them in their lunch break to go play. And, so that's where me being able to play KOF comes from, having strong international background and copying different styles and then making my own. But yeah, that pretty much killed it. Like, the arcades closed, I think by the time it was like, you would say 2007, 2008, because I was friends with one of the arcade owners, they got a copy of Alpha 3 and Third Strike. At the time, we had a bit of exchange students coming through, and so we played Alpha 3 and Third Strike quite a lot for like 2 years straight. But then once those students went, no more challenge, then no point in having those machines. Those machines got taken out. But by that stage, SF4 came out. I came here from Adelaide for a music, a music festival. I went to Crown, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people playing. And then I went to Box Hill, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people playing. I go, okay, so SF4 must be a thing. So 2008, this was at the end. I'm like, okay. It would have been 2009, and HD Remix had come out the previous year. And obviously, playing Super Turbo, I made the adjustment, and I entered the tournament. Yeah, and I entered SF4 thinking the same thing. And I think Troy, Moose King, he saw that. He was trying to get people together, and we had this thing it's still going at Adelaide Uni on Fridays from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. called EVAC, and people just go bring their own consoles, play games. He was trying to get people to go, just start a small scene, and there was. After that, I think another AVCon went down the track, and he wanted to have somewhere better than EVAC to play, because, it's not so much that we don't like mixing with other games, but sometimes we just want to go and play our own and not be bothered by other stuff. So he found a way to have a deal with Arena, and so we were going there on Sundays. Also, Peter Lay was also having that's what it was at EVAC, so that's how I got introduced to him. And then for a while, I guess around the time of Cross Tekken, we also had nights at another place called Pimp Pad, which changed its name to The Pad, which had nights on Thursday. So then we had 2 nights a week that we could play if we wanted to. So yeah, that's pretty much how it went, and it just keeps growing. We just try and keep our name out. If we go to a convention, we tell people about it. Hopefully new people come along. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And now because obviously we don't go to the pad, the owners rubbed us the wrong way. Now it's Thursdays and Sundays at Arena from 6 p.m. until late. The big thing that I liked about the arcade is a lot of the time I could go play and leave, and no one would think any different of me. And then I'm going there and people have the same interest. Coming from me, who wasn't really someone who tried to go along with the crowd, I was always trying to be myself. It didn't sit well in the 80s at school. Like, people didn't really like the fact that you played video games a lot, like, which I think is kind of odd. But then I realized, you know, I wasn't going to try and fit in with the crowd just so I could be accepted. But then I figured, like, once I started going to the arcade, I realized that I was just like everyone else. And then eventually I started, like, socializing with them. And then I realized that that was quite a lot of fun. Sometimes I'd go and I'd just watch, just talk with the guys that were there and go home. Like, sometimes I just wouldn't even play. It was just cool because I'm like, oh, it's a Friday night. These guys are going to be there. Like, sometimes it would take me like 6 months to a year before I even found out their names, but it didn't matter because we were there just to enjoy playing fighting games. These days, people. I realized that it's always cool to socialize and meet new people and then see old faces. So that was the thing, because as many people know, this BAM, last minute, I actually booked everything on Wednesday. So it's just because in the back of my mind, I realized that there was a lot of people that, you know, I wanted to chat with, that I just don't get to see on a regular basis, and just hanging out, like, even just for the sake of hanging out. Like, but then, you know, playing games is always fun for me, but, you know, since my attitude's changed over the past 4 or 5 months, my mentality is different towards games. But yeah, it's mainly just to see people, like, and just hang out, and, you know, always sitting in the crowd with them when it gets to hype moments is always a blast. BAM last year was kind of, I was in a weird spot with, like, family life, but BAM this year, and so yeah, so BAM last year I was like, kind of like, I was trying to enjoy myself, but I couldn't because there was still, like, a lot of things back at home, and that was still sitting in my head. This year, though, I've, like, you know, spoken with some of my friends back in Adelaide, and my attitude, like, has, like, dramatically improved over the weekend. Like, this is probably, out of all the BAMs I've been to, this has probably been the most fun. And, you know, there's been a lot of people to speak to and a lot of people to catch up with. And, you know, playing casuals has also been fun, like, because I'm not sitting there going, even in casuals, I must win. Like, I'm just having a good time, chatting with people, not getting mad at anything. So, you know, and people even come up to me and want to play casuals. Like, normally I'd be searching out people, but that's been good. It's been really good, yeah. I've really enjoyed my time this time at BAM. It's been really, yeah, been a lot of fun.
Hey James, Eric said I'd find you here. I'm Danny.
Oh yeah, hey, you're the guy who knows Tomo.
Right.
Hey Tomo, you know this guy, right?
No, I've never seen him before. Well, Tomo and I are getting reacquainted. Why don't you check out some of Guile's hot new combos and strategies?
Hey Danny,
Yeah?
you wanna play a game?
Yeah!
Play my offense to the max or don't play me at all.
Tomohiro, way back when, because he, like, I used to hear about it. Obviously, back in the 90s, there wasn't much, like, the internet was, like, so new, but I used to, like, hear about him on message boards and be like, and then there was that, like, those cheesy Street Fighter 2 ads, and he'd be on there. But just the way he played, I was like, wow, like, someone can play at that level. That's just amazing. And then I guess the next person after that was Daigo Mahara, simply because I play Ryu, and in a game where Ryu's not considered the best, he was dominating. And that made me realize that it doesn't matter who you play, as long as you put the time in. They have to play the player and not the actual character in the game. And he's always interesting. And I've always noticed that if he's got a stone cold face, he'll win. If he's smiling, he'll lose. Not really. I don't think so. I've always said that about anything. If you still enjoy doing it, just do it. Like, you shouldn't be deterred by young people like I used to be. But, you know, if they want to and they legitimately don't want to play, and it's not because they're bored of it, they just want to do something else, that's fine, because that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm all about trying to, you know, do new things, experience different things out of life, you know, try and see different parts of the world. So I don't really think, like, if they want to stop, that's fine, but I don't think there's any age people stop. It's just, I think the way society puts a placing on things, like, you know, when I was young, everyone used to say to me, you'll grow out of playing video games. And I'm in my early 30s and I still play. And I still come to these events, and I know a lot of people are like 10 years younger than I am, or probably not, or somewhere in amongst that range. It doesn't matter. If you're still having fun, go for it. If you want to stop, that's all good. It's all a choice. Like, I don't think there should be any pressure put on anyone to do anything. I just think I do have like a story that I've had since I've been like 20, and I'm just writing short stories and other things to improve my writing style, so that if I do write this as a novel, it'll actually be to the standard I want it to be. So if I'm reading stuff, it's usually that kind of stuff. Like, I guess you would say Albert Camus, Soren Kierkegaard, just those guys that were thinking like about like existentialism, absurdism, and all those like wacky thoughts. And, you know, I'm just trying to see like ideals and thoughts of where things fit in. Shout outs to Adelaide for actually having a scene, because, you know, for ages I think I would have given up playing fighting games if there wasn't. And shout outs to SF4 for boosting the fighting game scene again. But yeah, everyone back in Adelaide, shout outs to them. I do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't uploaded any content for a while, but I'm considering uploading new content. It does contain a lot of old SF2 runs. It's just A1Major on YouTube, all lowercase. I do have Facebook, which is basically just my name, Anthony Majarian. All right, thank you.